Welcome to Project Comedy, a podcast by and for military veterans doing stand-up comedy, turning military banter into quality stand-up comedy acts. We might be veterans, but our comedy aims to get everybody laughing. The greatest sin a comedian can make is to use another comedian's joke. There's a code. Musicians might be able to do covers, but comedians always perform their own material. Now that could be daunting to any new comedian, but especially a veteran. When we heard a good joke, we stored it away, ready to use at the next barrack banter session. So you might have been the most funny person in your unit, but when every gag you tell on a stand-up stage has to be your own, how are you going to develop 5 minutes of stuff that no one else has heard, let alone thought of? I'm joined by my fellow Project Comedy ambassadors, Gabriel Dark Soul Murphy, Jamie Release the Nerd Johnson, and Dan, how much homework have they given me right? And I'm Jay Beyond Mental Saunders. Hopefully we can give you an insight into how we find and test new material and how we ensure it's all original. Hi guys.
How are you now?
Hello.
Now we've all got different styles. We've all got different different sense of humour, different personas on the stage. So for each of you, are there any subjects that you particularly like to play with that are just something you automatically know, I'm going to be able to make this funny?
Apart from your own genitalia.
That does seem to be about 25% of my set, mate.
It is going to make me sound really bad, but the only subject that I play with is my ginger stepchild.
But you're going to be able to dine out on that girl forever. I mean,
whoa, hey, I do not do anything like that.
No, I did not mean it that way.
I'm not on the BBC yet. But saying that though, at least I could get something out of the fucking royal family for a change.
Exactly. You can now start comparing yourself to Prince Andrew.
Exactly.
The prince formerly known as Andrew.
Well,
you go for the emotive things, don't you? You go for the emotive things, what you really like and what you really hate.
See, a lot of the stuff I get from having like either nightmares or something like that, you know, my PTSD nightmares, when they've kicked in, I kind of wake up going, oh shit, I could make that. I've got to try and make that funny because otherwise I'm going to blow my head off.
Oh, totally right. Totally right. Because I do that all the time. It's now that I've found the confidence to start talking about PTSD on the stage. And I suppose I have to. Because when I walk onto the stage and suddenly there's a black Labrador wearing a blue assistance dog jacket on it, I can't ignore him because everybody's going to just stare at the dog. I've got to explain why the dog's there. But I'm having so much fun now with certain elements of PTSD that I can joke about it. There's a lot I can't yet. I'm not strong enough for, but it's actually almost a safe space to start writing material on that I can actually go, oh, so what might they be interested? Oh, let's talk about meditation. Let's talk about grounding techniques. They're easy things for me to latch into. What about you guys, Jamie, Dan? Are there any areas that you automatically start writing on?
Just try to think of two completely different ideas, really, and smash something together, smash two random ideas together that are completely unrelated, I think.
Your dick and women's throats.
Say what?
Your dick and women's throats.
Well, they're definitely not related anyway. That's going down the black incest now route already, isn't it?
Something I really like, and it goes back to reading the room, so knowing if there are the fellow nerds in there, so any geek humour, or if anything's really annoyed me out in the nerdosphere. And then again, my surname's Johnson, so the obvious.
Playing in with Boris.
Yeah, I found that an easy opener.
I found I really like I have a lot of fun being self-deprecating. I mean, you know, I'm a 53-year-old mental lunatic with a dog living on a yacht. I can have too much fun taking the piss out of me. I mean, I can't find women, so making myself a failure in that endears you to a room because you're not insulting them, you're insulting yourself. So it enables you to connect with a room so much easier.
Yeah, I did find that on one of my sets, actually. They got offended with some blowjob jokes, but then when I when I twisted it and turned it back round and said, made it more self-deprecating, you kind of got a bit more of a laugh, and then they come a little bit more on your side. So you can almost, it helps you to push the boundaries further if you then twist it and actually make it a little bit about you as well.
But guys, we're all used to this, aren't we? With barrack humour, you know, if you can't take the pee out yourself.
One of the best things that I love about this podcast is that it's on the audio plane. If this was on YouTube, I'd just be like an unreal amount of people just vomiting all over the computers or something like that.
I'd have to shave. I'm not doing a podcast where I've got to shave.
Me describing myself as Brian Blessed and Charles Bronson's love child.
I think that's far from Brian Blessed, personally.
I suppose I should email him and ask him whether it's all right, whether I can do that.
Are you happy for me to say I look like you?
Are you happy to say that I'm your gay progeny?
You're illegitimate bastard.
I like the point that Jamie made in the, when we had the barrack humor and the barrack banter. If you didn't take the piss out yourself first, everybody else in the room would start ripping it into you. So you learned very quickly how to rip the piss out yourself.
I think a lot of this is what's missing in the world today as well. Like, 'cause everyone's going on about like how wet people are and all that sort of stuff. And I think people are going on about like how much, expressing their own feelings and how it's affected them, as opposed to just telling them, giving them a little bit of tolerance and and a bit of self-fortitude. Have a bit more about yourself to be able to be a bit more thick-skinned.
Are there wet people out there? I've never met a wet girl in my life.
And that includes his missus.
But saying that, even trash bags leak, don't they? So.
But I think that's the difference between British humour and American humour, because a lot of the guys and girls on the UK circuit, they are self-deprecating and they'll talk about their personal issues. I mean, for example, Susie Ruffle will talk about the fact that she suffers with anxiety. Frankie Boyle isn't scared of talking about the fact that he's reformed alcoholic. Exactly the same thing with Frank Skinner. But you look at American comedians, and they appear to be, this is probably too damning, but they appear to be, I want to be the only right person in the room. Everybody admire me because every one of my opinions is correct.
Yeah, I think if you go on a list of like edgy comedians, the Americans are going to be way down there, aren't they?
Yeah, Bill Burr.
No offense to Americans. I've been to war with you fuckers, and you nearly shot me there as well.
Well, here's a shocker for you, Gabe. Here's a shocker for you. At the moment, we don't, according to the stats we've got on the podcast, we don't have any American listeners, but we have got Russian ones.
In that case, fuck you, America.
Spasiba.
We're doing more to deal with the situation in the Ukraine than the US government. Are there any material finding techniques that you guys use? I mean, obviously there are. It's a leading question because of the training we've done, but take me through the material finding techniques that you guys like to use.
We obviously we're going on to like the rant and rave thing now, but I think that I'm genuinely not that excited about anything. So I just mainly rant. Unless you want to go about Guinness, but then I can't exactly make Guinness funny. I'll just be like, Guinness is fucking brilliant. And potato.
I'm sure you could make Guinness funny in some dark and twisted way.
Oh God, yeah.
Dark enough as it is, mate. It's fine.
I mean, I find rant and rave really good. I'll have my phone with me. And it's got a voice recorder, and if ever I get an idea pop into my head, I'll just dictate it into my phone. Yeah. So I'll be walking around the streets of Stoke, and if you see some nutters just talking into his phone, it'll be me. But I find as soon as I've got it into my phone, that's fine. I can forget about it and then come back to it and think, yeah, that's a good idea. I can build on that. So I have little nuggets as I put into my phone that I can flesh out into set up some punchlines.
Is this you trying to be a trendy fella now, walking around talking on your hands-free phone right in front of your fucking face? You have a pair of fucking sliders on as well.
We might be using a term that people aren't familiar with. What does rant and rave actually mean?
So going back to what I said about as emotive subjects, it's things you really like or things you really hate, and basically you spend a couple of minutes just talking about them, either like I do into my phone or writing them down, or in the green room. Just if you're given a subject, you just talk about it, and a lot of it might be verbal nonsense, but you might come out with some decent quotes that you can work with. So basically, rant and rave is a way of collating the embryo of material.
Key is getting across that passion, though, isn't it? I think that's what Jay was aiming for, to get that sort of passion, something you love, something you hate, and something you've got that passion.
I couldn't go on about Guinness for like 5 minutes. I could drink Guinness for like tons of time.
Maybe that's what you need to do, mate, is put yourself 8 cans out in front of you and just describe each can and see what you've got by the 7th can.
Like speed dating.
Probably 7 cans of Guinness. Whoa.
Speed dating for alcoholics. Oh, you're fucking lovely.
Mate, I want you to do that as a TikTok or a YouTube short or something like that. You speed dating yourself in the mirror with Guinness.
I can't do the visual plane. We told you this. We can't do the visual plane. I have to give out fucking sickness bags when I'm on stage for the audience.
But it's true what Dan was saying, though, isn't it? It's that thing about you need the passion behind it, because unless you can actually have some passion about it, how are you going to make it funny on stage? How are you going to develop your attitudes that are going to be able to take the audience with you? If you're fairly bland and vanilla about it, it's not going to be material anybody wants to listen to.
Exactly, yeah. I think that passion can then lead into the attitudes then, can it? And the more feeling you have behind it, the greater that relates to the performance, I think.
Picking out commonalities that you know that people can relate to. I mean, if you want to talk about something really bland, like chicken and rice blended together, I don't think you're going to get anybody excited except Keir Starmer, really.
Is that you plugging one of your jokes?
That was a severe. I'm patting myself on my own back for that one. I like that joke
can make
so
chicken
much.
and rice funny.
On the back.
I did.
I'm going to go away and have a sugar-free rich tea now.
And then the other technique we were taught was Q&As, where you get other people or you get a list of questions and what have you, and you just instantly react to the questions, see if anything comes out of a list of questions that can make you laugh. And then I kind of like doing that one because it takes you to places you didn't expect, because, you know, I can make a list of things that I like or things I hate, but when you get a Q&A session going, you weren't expecting that question, and seeing where your subconscious takes you in humor, that's fucking brilliant fun to do.
We should try that in a future podcast, maybe.
We could well do.
There's pushing the logic as well, isn't there? Which I quite like taking something and making it like really more serious than it needs to be. I'm
yes,
explaining it very well, but
Michael Jackson's dad,
the next level.
Like Michael Jackson's dad, he got as much out of that kid as he could.
Exactly. He really got his money's worth, didn't he?
Didn't he? He was like, you're a good singer, now fucking sing more. 4 o'clock in the morning.
You look at that pushing the logic, just look at, a lot of the material that his name will come back to me, Jack Whitehall does. That it really is pushing the logic. I mean, How can you
About
make a
Gags?
10-minute routine about buying a cup of coffee? But he just pushes the logic on it and makes it absolutely ridiculous, absolutely beyond reality, and then it becomes a routine.
Yeah.
What about chatting with other comedians? Does that give you new material, or does that help you test material?
Don't know any.
Whoa.
Oh, Jesus, mate! You're in a room with us, not.
Fuck you up.
But when you see
hear
another-
about waist height and you'll see a comedian.
Say again, Dan.
I said, look in the mirror at about waist height and you'll see more than a comedian. You'll see, well, you might not see a comedian, but you'll certainly see a joke.
Fucking cheers, pal. I am loving this.
He didn't even,
As
he
the
didn't
only
even say that he had
single
a-
man in the room, I'm
Richard in the
enjoying
sofa.
every moment of this.
Getting dark now.
I love the little moments that we do, like with the green room and stuff like that. Like, you know, so having, you know, when we turn around and say, I'm working on a little bit of a bit doing X, Y, or Z, do you know, and I'm thinking about going down that line. And then, you know, each of us add in, or say you could strip down a wee bit more on that one, or
Yeah,
add a bit more into
100%.
that.
I find it useful if you just come up with one little funny idea and then everyone else sort of, we can brainstorm, can't we? And then next thing you know, you've developed it and you developed it and you've developed it. And then some people might have some ideas on different attitudes. And before you know it, you've sort of grown that little funny idea into, branched off to 3 or 4 other little funny ideas, and you've grown that bit of material then.
Yeah, test it out first, see if it lands, and then if it does, you've got the start of something good then.
Because I found it's really interesting when I've been talking to guys I've met on the circuit down here on the South Coast, and I've told them about our green rooms and how we work, and they go, "Oh my God, I wish I had that." Because, you know, most of the comedians I know, they're working on their own. They're literally just writing their stuff in their bedrooms, at their living room tables, what have you, and then take it to a stage. But they've never had a chance to do collaborative writing.
Are they doing the Daniel Bedingfield route? Comedy.
He said,
David.
We haven't gone viral yet. But I think it's one of the advantages we've got in Project Comedy is we've got a group of people that sort of understand each other and will motivate each other to find our stuff funny and push the boundaries of it and actually develop exactly as Dan was saying, a single idea and then turn that into a series of punchlines.
Yeah, all about developing little ideas, isn't it? And growing that idea into something worthwhile to include in a set.
What about watching other comedians then? Does that help you find material, or is that a wasted endeavor?
I don't think it's a good way to find material, because then, like I said, you're copying. You know, you don't want to be doing verbatim stuff. But you know, I
spark ideas, can't it? I think not necessarily copying, but spark off different ideas and something. Oh, I didn't think of that. That's good. Maybe I can twist it in another way, and it will help me on something else that I'm writing on.
I mean, I still watch other comedians, like, because I like enjoying the stuff that I can't do. Like, I can't really do politics because I'm fucking stupid, basically. So
you don't know the difference between left or right wing for a start.
If we're going on KFC, I know the difference between left wing and right wing. Politics, like, I couldn't give a flying fuck what hand you'd use to lie to the fuck to me about, you know.
Well, I've got 2 examples of where it's actually been good for me. Is like I recently watched an episode of comedians giving lectures, one of the Dave originals, and it was the return of Frankie Boyle. I've not seen him do a set in ages.
Yeah.
And it was brilliant. It was all political. It was a completely different take. But what I suddenly realized, I was watching it going, hang on, he hates every politician. So do I. I'm not left or right wing or what have you. I just hate them all. So it's made me go, well, actually, maybe I should write a set about politics. My very first ever set, half of it was about politics. So why don't I go back to that? So it's inspired me to do it. The second one was over Christmas. when his Dark Materials by Jimmy Carr came out. And I was listening to it going, oh, I would have played that in a different way. And then I ended up pausing the video, getting my notebook out, going, right, that subject, this is the way I play it. And I was playing it a completely different way to Jimmy. I wasn't going for his gags. I was going for his topics because I've got a completely different take on it.
Yeah.
So that was one way for me to go, maybe I can play it in that direction.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think topics, I mean, at the end of the day, it's kind of like music, isn't it? Eventually you're going to stumble into the realms of someone else's things. But as long as you're not doing their things.
Well, topics you can bend in different ways. I mean, everybody can play with a topic. I mean, the most common topic ever used on stage on the stand-up circuit is sex. You can't just give sex to one comedian. It's everybody's got their own take on which way they want to play that.
I thought you said which way you want to pay for it then, Joe. So some of us don't have to pay for it at all.
Desperate. I'm getting that desperate. I mean, even the dog's scared at the moment.
I can see him quivering in the corner.
Have you seen the clientele in Gosport, Dan? I wouldn't with yours, mate.
I've never been to Gosport, thank God.
Imagine if you were having to pay for sex though and you did it contactless.
Oh my God! There's a routine. There's the routine. The first contactless payment bloody system for the bloody hooker, and you're ended up having contactless sex as well. I think it's called the internet.
Or the irony of having a fuck buddy and using PayPal. Cheers, buddy.
You know you've met a lower class form of prostitute when she offers you payment terms under Klarna. One deposit now and you can pay for it over the next 3 months.
Well, with me, it'd have to be in instalments.
Mate, with me, that's the only thing I think I could manage now.
What's a semi-friendly relationship with a hooker?
You could just pay for a cuddle.
Imagine the conversation points though. It's like, oh, what have you been up to? Fucking dick, mainly. I've been trying to work, you know.
I wonder what their CV would look like. Personal profile.
I was a personal assistant for the years that I was attractive.
I don't think you'd get a profile on LinkedIn, would you?
I think they should do on LinkedIn. That'd be awesome.
Oh, I wonder. That's something I'm going to have to look into. How many people on LinkedIn, their website address is an OnlyFans address? That would be fucking professional. I would.
This completely fascinates me. Being of the highly ugly face that I have, how many people think that they can actually make a living on OnlyFans? Like how big-headed is that anyway? It's like, oh, I am that attractive. People will pay to see me pull the middle out myself.
There's an act in my area who has an OnlyFans account, and he's making loads of money out of it. He ended up having to set it up because his comic book store shut down during lockdown, and he's making shed loads of money out of OnlyFans, and it's a brilliant routine he's using out of it.
Yeah, Jamie, he's a geek. He's just closed his comic book store, just getting OnlyFans going.
I thought OnlyFans was when like women played with themselves on TV and then men call up and pay. Is that
no?
Like Babe Station.
That's webcamming. That's webcamming.
What's OnlyFans then? I've never heard of this one.
So you like an individual and you will pay for private content, and you download their private content.
Private content.
Oh, see, I thought it was just like regular stuff. You know, just...
What type of private content? Am I being naive here? Is it
whatever you want?
A Pornhub with a paywall, I suppose.
Is it porn based then? Yeah.
Majority of it, yeah.
But there's women that pay for men to do this,
and there's men that pay men to do it, and women that pay women to do it, and
now you're drawing a blank.
There's a whole world out there that I don't even know about.
You need to get the red out of your bloody library books at the moment, mate, and find out what the real world's like.
Well, one thing I did learn is that if a woman has a jellyfish tattooed on her arm, don't pee on her. That is all I know.
I thought there was going to be some serious point then.
For what?
I thought there was going to be a serious point then.
See, I think now with it's either my age or the fact that I understand that I was mental, and I think that I'm getting a little bit better. But I think sexually I've become a lot more boring now. It's like half the time I can't even be asked to pull in the middle of myself. So I'm hardly going to be. You know what I mean?
I'm pretty good in bed. I don't snore.
I'm pretty good in bed. I don't make her snore whilst I'm doing it to her.
I don't even wake her up. It's probably because she's never waking up.
That's it. Just when you fancy having a go, just throw her in a warm bath for a little bit. There you go. You warm up again.
Why do you think I've got all them heat lamps?
And this is almost like one of the other techniques we use, which is the 1 minute challenge. You know, you end up being assigned to something completely random, and you try and make it into funny. I mean, that's what the green room feels like to me. So suddenly a subject gets dropped in there, going, "I want to find a punchline for it," and the green room's like a longer version of a 1 minute challenge, isn't it?
I obviously come up with all the clean stuff. Yeah.
Clean stuff. Clean stuff. Jesus, there's no way you're being sponsored by Persol, mate. Are there any topics at the moment you're thinking about writing about?
Oh, what was the one I said the other day?
I don't necessarily think of a topic though. I just sort of like, it takes me half an hour to think of one thing, and then in the next 10 minutes I'll write like the 5 minutes out. But literally I'm usually staring at a blank piece of paper for 20 minutes, and then I'll write the whole lot straight away, like in a oneer. Just when I get in I suppose getting in the zone, isn't it?
I've got one at the moment because I'm starting to get annoyed with commercial gentrification. So basically, long story short, they've opened another bar right next to me. It's basically in a marquee. It's a marquee with a shed in it, and that's this new bar, and they're trying to make it sound like a really, really upbeat, very high level, exclusive venue.
Yeah. Gosport.
It's a tent with a shed. It's a tent with a shed. They're charging £8 for a glass of wine.
Oh no!
And it's like, fuck's sake, who's paying £8 to sit in a B&M marquee while somebody's coming out of a bloody shed and giving it to you?
Not when you can sit in your front room and buy pints for £1 out of the supermarket.
Yeah. And this idea of, oh no, it's got to be, it's, you know, I'm fed up of pubs trying to be more than they are, you know, claiming that they're, good example, Gabe, Jamie, when we went out for drinks after our gig up in Salford, and we went to that bar, and they didn't sell pints.
What?
They didn't.
That's pretentious, isn't it? That is pretentious.
I tell you what, though, but the pizzas they do there are fucking amazing.
I didn't go for pizza. I went to go and get pissed.
A bar that doesn't sell pints is like a brothel that doesn't sell sex.
Yeah, but it was open at like, you know, midnight on Sunday. So you got to take the rough with the smooth, like, isn't it? You know what I mean?
I know, but how is your business model going? Right, so I've got this clientele. The clientele wants to come in. They want to have a good time. They want to have a drink. But we're not going to sell them in the volumes that everybody else does. I mean, it was
yeah, but equally, no fella has said, I met this stunning girl at 10 to 2 in the morning.
What do you mean? All the stunners I've met are at 10 to 2 in the morning.
No girl's gone like that. Oh, do you know, I met this really charming fella. Like, you know, on the internet, he just sent me this lovely message. Didn't mention.
He just sent me a lovely dick pic, and that was it.
Yeah, just a really charming, nice, you know, almost chivalrous message.
almost chivalrous. Do you think in the future weddings, you know, like when you go to a wedding and then they have like pictures of the happy couple, like when they first met, their first date, and their first like few bits together? Do you think there'll be one there like, so this was the first dick pic he ever sent?
I'd love it to go. I'd love it to have the Tinder profiles up there and just go, you never.
So this was when I swiped right.
Oh, the best man is reading out their first ever sexting conversation.
It's going to be standard in the future.
I'm working on a little bit there about. I'm doing a semi bit of a thing of going down the whole Catholic and Protestant thing again. Like I got told a joke when I first joined the army. It was, they always said like, Father Murphy was leaving the congregation. You know, he was retiring. So the new Father Dougal or whatever, he comes in and he says, Father Murphy, I've got to tell you, I'm absolutely terrified about doing confession. And he says, don't worry about it. I've left you a list of sins and, you know, the reparations that they have to do for it. So he's there doing his first confession, like, and this girl comes in and says, forgive me, Father, I sinned. Last night I gave my husband a blowjob. So he's there looking down the list and he can't find blowjob anywhere. So he pops his head out of the confessional booth and an altar boy walks past. And he says, hey, psst, what did the old priest used to give for a blowjob? And he goes, usually a Kit Kat. But then, as a Catholic, I'd get annoyed at that because, like, the Protestants are getting sweets and stuff. We used to just get bread.
Yeah, but they'd also give us red wine.
Yeah, there you go. See, you fucking dirty bastards. Like, there's you getting red wine and fucking Kit Kats and stuff, and there's us just getting fucking prayers. And I think that.
And we don't have confessional booths. That's
the big Catholic Protestant divide.
I was raised Catholic.
Oh, Jesus Christ, am I the only proddy in the room?
Well, I'm a converted atheist now. After dabbling with Islam and Judaism and Scientology. I
just thought I'd put an egg in each basket.
Just in case.
Try them all out.
Like I never said I was a very good insert religion.
Suck it and see. So you kept with Catholicism.
They say variety is the spice of life. So,
and whilst all of these amazing lapsed Catholics do that, let's take a break for a second and show you how to get into project comedy. Are you a veteran or even still serving and think you'd like to give stand-up comedy a go? Then why not join us in Project Comedy? Visit the Project Recce website, that's projectrecce.org, then click on how it works. You'll find a Register Here button in the Project Comedy section. Fill that in and the HQ staff will soon get you connected with the Project Comedy community and its weird and wonderful ambassadors. You'll be invited to our green rooms, where if you want it, we can train you in the basics. If not, you can just come along and have a laugh with us and see what we're up to and what it gives us. And here we are, we're 4 comedians out there on the circuit, but we're all veterans. Does being a veteran enable us to come up with new material that nobody else has come out with?
I think it definitely gives us a unique insight into different situations. I suppose going back to your previous question first, what material I kind of work on is personal experiences. I find are always the easiest to write about because you've lived them. So they're a good source of humour. But coming back to the veteran side, yeah, obviously, one of a good coping mechanism for the bad experience is to make light, which is what we did when we were in, and turning that into routine, turning it into a good set, that helps.
I couldn't agree more. Because sometimes I use it as I use it as recovery. When I'm having dark moments, I'll sit down and think about that dark stuff and went, right, so how do I make this funny? And the joy of writing comedy is if it's not funny, it doesn't go into a set. So it can take me away from the darkness going, oh, that's funny. That isn't funny. Throw it away and write about the funny stuff. But equally, if I look back over my, I was in for nearly 2.5 decades. I met some freaking lunatics in the service. And they are brilliant people to talk about because they're beyond loonies that anybody else has ever met.
You've never been to London, have you, Jay? Just walk around the streets of London. Every other person's a loony.
Yeah, I remember when I was in, like, one of the things that kickstarted my PTSD was actually finding my best mate who'd hung himself in his wardrobe. And one of my lines, one of my gags is saying that the idea, the MOD's idea of aftercare was to have a sturdy bar in your wardrobe. So for me, it's kind of while I make it a bit of a funny thing, it's a very cathartic way for me to deal with that side of life,
And I love that. I love the follow-on gag you've got with that is, who would believe the IRA? What's the line?
Who'd have believed that the IRA had better aftercare than the MOD? Because the squaddy pretended to be Jerry Adams was rubbing me back saying, there, it's all right, it's all for the call. But to go in a bit like the other people that we've met. I can remember there was this lad who his nickname was Jackpot, and he was called Jackpot because he had an extremely large foreskin.
Go on.
And what he would do is on a night out, he would put coins in his foreskin, and then when he saw a girl that he'd whip his dick out, slap it, and all the coins would go everywhere. He'd put his hands in the air and go, "Jackpot, baby." That was his regular bit of just like throwing coins on the girl. And
we had a last. I'm now thinking about it. I'm going to have to put it into a routine. But one of the warships I was on, we had this very large lady in the logistics department, junior rate, and she was called Buttercup, and she loved being called Buttercup. She was constantly bouncing around going, "I'm Buttercup. I'm this lovely little character," and I just couldn't get where the nickname had come from. So I stopped one of my POs one day and I went, "Why do we call her Buttercup?" He went, "You ever seen her get through a kidney hatch?" And if you've never seen a kidney hatch is a hatch within a hatch that you use to escape the ship. And they're tiny little things. The reason she was called Buttercup is the only way she could get out of a kidney hatch was one buttercup at a time. And she had no fucking idea that's why the ship's company called her Buttercup.
I'm offended.
And you're not going to get
women. I'm offended. I love it when people have these. I love it when these people have these nicknames so that they have no idea where or why it came from.
Too many. I mean, my early career nickname was Jethro because they assumed I had a Cornish accent.
Don't you?
You all sort of speak the same around that part, though, don't you?
No, I am not Cornish. I can actually speak at a speed.
From about Land's End to Salisbury. You're all as bad as each
It's
other.
all the fucking same, really, isn't it?
You bunch of Northerners and Irish shits. Come on. Do you know what? I'm calling you out now. That's officially fucking racist. You cannot call all West Country people the same.
I'm allowed to be racist, fuck you.
If life is soup,
that's a new routine for me.
According to the commitments
right,
back to Europe.
Right, that's a new routine for me. I'm writing something about West Country racism. The fact that you northern bastards are racist to us West Country types.
Well,
London
according to the
felt as
commitments we're the
north
backs
to
of
you.
Europe, so fuck you. I'm allowed to be.
You'll come back to the Crown at one point, mate.
Fucking come on the crown.
I'm over the crown.
I'll be. I will genuinely have a wank when she dies. Look at that.
What do you mean? That's like saying that I'm going to wake up when she dies, because that's just a standard thing. Do you know what I mean? I'll probably have a wank the day I die. It will probably be straight after.
Probably have a wank while I'm dying.
That's
Exactly. That's
probably.
what
Yeah, I could work that into being. That could be my only kink.
It will be my cause of death at my age.
I could,
As well as bad Wi-Fi.
I could work that into being my only kink.
Play
Is
with
like
that.
aerobic asphyxiation because I'm semi-suicidal and I wank a lot. Just trying to get off while I'm strangling myself,
Oh.
but not actually go through with it because I'm Catholic and I don't want to. I don't want to risk it on a 50-50 of whether it's bullshit or not. Has Jay gone into low tide now?
No, that was me trying to attach to 4G. That failed, so I've attached to another mast.
Oh, I. Sailor boys' habits die hard, doesn't it?
Fucking hell, I think I live on a submarine, not a fucking yacht. Okay, then, so let's just conclude off then by actually trying to find some material for ourselves then. Why don't we do a bit of a Q&A session? Dan, I believe you know a decent website that's got some random questions on it. So fire out some questions. Any one of us can chip in to what we think about it.
I was just about to say, should Dan not say, you answer this?
Yeah, why not?
Or is it
Why
to
not?
a specific person?
All right. Well, if I can see all three of you, so if one of you wants to answer it, and if you put your hand up, and then I'll go to the person that put their hand up, and then it'll be a little bit like what's the one with Dara O'Brien?
O'Brien.
O'Brien.
A week.
Mock the week.
Mock the week. That's it. When they go up and they go to the microphone, don't they?
Yeah. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
We'll do it like that. So put your hand up if you want to answer it, and then I'll call your name and then answer it. Yeah?
Yeah.
Do it, man.
Right.
Do it.
Let's go like that then. Right. First question. How long are we going to go for?
Oh, let's just play until we get bored and then I'll edit.
All right. Just play until we get bored, then edit. All right. First question. What incredibly strong opinion do you have that is completely unimportant in the grand scheme of things? Jay.
Tomato ketchup should be banned on all occasions. Having tomato ketchup is purely a signal of a poor palate, that the only thing that you like the taste of is fucking tomato ketchup. It should be banned on put it on fucking steaks and chips and enjoy the flavour of the fucking food. Fucking hate tomato ketchup.
Wow. Didn't realise that ketchup created such a strong
It's
opinion.
evil. It's evil.
All right, question 2. What story does your family always tell about you? Go on then, Jay again.
It's a lie, but my family always told the story of when my sister saved me from being beaten up in the primary school toilets. It's a complete fabrication, but it makes me look like the weakest fucker on the planet, that she allegedly stormed into the toilets when I was being beaten up and she beat them up. And it's an absolute lie.
I didn't know you were a primary school teacher.
Why do you think I quit?
No smoke without fire. That's all I'm saying. Next question.
My family don't tell story. My family just tell everyone about how fucking ashamed and embarrassed they are of me.
It doesn't matter. Whatever you do, we are already disappointed.
Yeah. Why can't you be more like your big brother?
Next question. What issue will you always speak your mind about?
The big issue.
Oh, that winds me up. The big issue winds me up. I've been living in Gosport for 4 years now, and there's a woman.
Everybody's selling it. Everybody's selling it. Nobody's buying it.
I mean, she's been selling the big issue for 4 fucking years. What's the fucking point?
I will always talk about the fact that I do not give a fuck about your issue. I have too much of my own shit going on that I do not give a flying fuck whether you think you are a guy or a girl or whether you're into guys or into girls. I do not give a flying fuck.
Well, look, here's my take on it. I was born a male. I identify as a male. But according to Tesco's Sticky Toffee Pudding, I'm a family of 4.
You've got to put that in your set, mate. You've got to put that in your set. My issue is lawns. Every lawn should be striped. But that's my OCD.
What fucking time do you think I've got?
That's my OCD.
Fucking hell.
Fucking hell, you're a northerner and you're trying to be posh.
Oh mate, you'd want everyone's fucking stripes going the same way as well, wouldn't you?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Right, if I was living on your terrace road, mate, I'd make sure that mine were horizontal while everybody else were vertical.
Oh mate, I'd make mine fucking hooked up.
Next time anyone sees Jamie, start wearing checked and striped. If I ever see anyone wearing check and stripe, it makes me want to throw up into my mouth.
It's like Crocs with socks.
Jamie, do you get upset if one of the mugs is turned the wrong way round in the cupboard?
You know me too well.
Oh, mate, I'm gonna break into your house, get into your cutlery drawer, and pull one fork the other way.
Twist a random mug round.
No, a fork.
I'll get into your cutlery drawer.
Burglar. I'll get into your
all the
cutlery drawer,
labels
and all the
inside out.
forks are going to be all the same way, and I'll turn one the other way. That's how much of a cunt I am.
I would rather you come in and just rob my house than do that. Take my TV. You misalign my cutlery, mate. That'll just do my nut.
Start putting picture frames at slight angles. And,
oh no!
You'd come down and you'd prolapse.
Clocks as well. What do you mean that clock's 3 minutes fast?
Oh, imagine if you had clocks at like saying 56 and then other ones that said like 1 minute past.
Is your OCD that bad?
He's actually sweating.
I am.
Is your OCD that bad that in your remote controls batteries you can see the name of the battery? Both of them.
I decline to comment.
You know what else I could do in yours? I could flip the switches, so like all your downstairs switches aren't facing the same way. So I'd flick like the downstairs light on, run upstairs.
Oh, this is making me angry now. That's not OCD. That's just common sense.
It's like if you're watching a YouTube video and it's like a stripped down and reassembly of something mechanical, like
because I'm always watching YouTube videos of stripping mechanical parts down.
I have to make sure that the exact screw the guy takes out is the one that I take out, and have to follow it exactly.
See, I'm that much of a prick. Like I do this with my missus. My missus is really like, she turns the car wing mirrors in. We've got an automatic car, but she still puts the handbrake on, even though it's in back. And I'll just go outside and I'll take the handbrake off and fucking come back in.
Oh!
Yeah, so she'll go in. She'll go when she gets in the car. She's like, I'm sure I put the handbrake on. You must be going fucking mad, Bert.
I went to the #1 school of technical training, you know. I went to Cosford, and yet I still don't need YouTube videos to tell me how to strip down and reassemble a jet washer.
Yeah, but you did a jumbo jet washer.
Or a jump jet washer.
Volcanic irrigation.
That's an RAF joke for you.
Notice I didn't say the obvious joke then. I didn't go for the most obvious joke.
But just the RAF
involving crabs or hotels.
I'm being a nice boy for once. Go on, chuck us another question, Dan.
Yeah, another question, Dan.
Right. Next question. What is something you can never seem to finish?
Suicide.
My missus.
Ditto. Tried it 8 times. I've never actually managed to finish that one off.
Because you're shit at it.
I'm fucking terrible at suicide. What's fucking wrong with me? Like they say,
personally, I would say for me, it is a danger wank. Always getting caught.
You get scared.
It's probably because I'm doing it in like shopping malls and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think I have the safest danger one because I'm just going to go around too. I come back with big red cheeks.
I think my current one is chat up lines. You know, because I'll walk up to a woman, start speaking, and go, "You fucking hate me anyway, don't you?" And just leave. So I'll start the chat up line and just go, "You automatically hate me. I'm fucking off now."
Well, see, I'm the complete opposite. If a woman said to me, "I'll see you in hell," I'll think that she's asking me for a date.
About 6:45 then. You bring the wine.
Yeah, I'm getting a bit hot too.
I'll see you in hell. But I'm not going to Cardiff.
Oh no. Swansea.
Swansea. Leicester is the biggest shithole I've ever been to.
Oh, have you been to Hastings?
No, I don't think so. Or Hemel Hempstead. Maybe Hemel Hempstead or Leicester or Luton. Oh, there's so many.
What's wrong with Hastings?
How many oars are we going on here now?
Yeah. And
basically, anywhere where there's people, that's a shithole.
Yeah. Basically, if there's more than just me, it's hell. I don't want to be there.
Was that what the Battle of Hastings was about? You had 2 groups of people. One of them said, "I really like it here." The other group said, "No, it's a shithole." So they had a bit of a scrap about it. Someone got one in the eye, and that was it. Game over.
And then they wrote it up in the scriptures. Things were just exaggerated from history, though.
Yeah.
Like things just get exaggerated, don't they?
William was good at playing conkers.
Jesus never had any magical powers. He was just like an all right bloke. He just used to like go to the pub, get the first round in, and then everyone thought, "Oh, what a legend! He's like the Messiah." But he weren't. He was just a nice bloke, and that was it.
And he never looked like one of the Bee Gees either.
Right. He
did.
He's like the older brother.
He did. He was just a very brain DG.
So ask another question.
Yeah, go
One
on.
more then, and we'll wrap it up with that.
I've got one as well, by the way.
Go on.
Two more.
What was the best compliment you've ever received? No one's ever received a compliment. This is quite an awkward silence.
I remember my best female mate, and she still to this day thinks it's a compliment. She said, "He's tall and in the dark, he's handsome."
I was dating a girl. Oh, it made me feel so cringeworthy, but everyone around me said, "Oh, that's such a lovely compliment." I was dating a girl, and she said, "Oh, he's so lovely. He treats me exactly like my dad does." It's just like we've literally had sex like an hour ago.
She did follow up later, tried to apologise, and went, "What I meant was he's tall, dark, and 2 out of 3 isn't bad." And we still talk to each other 13 years on.
My best compliment was, you tip well, sir, from the Hotel Conagé.
From my missus, she once said, "You didn't annoy me today."
How long have you been together?
Sorry?
How long have you been together?
9 years.
9 years, and you've gone one day without annoying her.
Mate, that's one day more than me.
Come on, Gabe. I know this is going to be dark.
So it's kind of like 2 questions. Who would you hate to see naked?
Oh, myself. I
doesn't
even have a shower with my pants on. I'm disgusted by myself.
Theresa May. Can you imagine anything that could turn you from an outie to an innie with your penis in seconds? Jesus Christ.
Theresa May running through fields of wheat.
But then again, Boris Johnson, God, I wouldn't want to see that man naked. I mean, Jesus Christ. I'm fucking hell, I'm going to have nightmares to...
See, all the people that I wouldn't want to see naked has already happened. Like the priest, Jimmy Savile.
Does Jim fix it for you?
Jim fixed it for me over and over. And then I killed him. Death by bumming.
And after that controversial moment, maybe it's time we actually wind up this episode. So we've given you a few clues on how we write comedy, but here's your chance. We have a Twitter channel. It comes up at the end of the episode. We've given you a few ideas of topics that you could write about. So please tweet us. What is the gag that you would have come out from any of our Q&As? We want to hear from you. We want to bring all of you people into comedy. So thank you so much. And I've got to thank all of my Project Comedy ambassadors. I've got to thank Gabriel, Dan and Jamie. You've been absolutely brilliant.
See ya. See you now. Take it easy. Good luck.
If you want to see what we're actually like on stage, please have a look at our YouTube channel. Search for Project Comedy, Veterans Doing Stand-Up, and look for our black and white logo that's exactly the same as the one we use for this podcast. You can also now follow us on Twitter. We can be found at Proj Comedy. That's at PROJ Comedy. I'm EJ Saunders. I can be found on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter if you look for Comic J Saunders. That's all one word with the letter J in the middle. Comic J Saunders. Thanks again to everyone that's taken part in this episode. Until next time. Thanks for listening to the Project Comedy Podcast. Please support our veterans as they continue their comedy journeys. To find out more, including gigs our veterans are doing, please search for the Project Comedy group on Facebook, where you'll also find links to Project Recce, the veterans charity that makes Project Comedy possible.